Before we begin, the information provided is for general educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. It does not replace consultant with a qualified healthcare professional. If you have a medical concern, diagnosis, or treatment question, you should consult your physician or another licensed healthcare provider.
Our second guest of the night, we've got Amie in the house. How are you doing, Amie?
I'm good, April. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And we were just talking during the break that you're way up there in Canada.
It's freezing here.
Is it really? What's the temperature?
It's freezing. Too cold for me. I don't know. Freezing. It's freezing and raining and gloomy.
I bet it was like 70 or 80 here today. It's just like, it's like almost hot. You know, it's nuts, but we love that. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm jealous.
I can't handle the cold. I feel like I'm going to break in the cold. So, Amie, I don't know if you watched the previous broadcast with Stacy just now, but the place we like to start with folks who've gone through triple negative breast cancer is kind of how you finally got that diagnosis and how old were you and what year and that kind of thing. So take us up to the point where you got this diagnosis.
Yeah, okay. So I was 47 at the time. It was 2023 when I first noticed kind of like a rope feeling underneath of my breast and a shortness of breath. A dog had came to me, actually, his name's Kelvin. He came to me in October of 2023. And when I was walking with my friends, I would notice like it was difficult to breathe. But I just blamed it on all kinds of other things. But then by December, just before Christmas, the rope feeling was like pretty thick. It went under my breast and like up into my armpit. And with Christmas, the holidays coming, my husband, who's like hypochondriac, was like, you need to get this checked. So I went to the nurse practitioner. She, of course, felt the rope too, sent me for an ultrasound and mammogram the next day. And then the day after that, I had 13 biopsies in the breast tissue and 1 in my lymph nodes. So then Christmas came, basically just tried to like assume everything was okay.
So,
sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you said you had 13 biopsies in your breast and then 1 lymph node. Is that right?
Yeah.
So does that mean that they saw 13 different spots that needed to be biopsied or?
No, they were just taking it all out of the same spot. It was like 2.5 centimeters by 2.7 centimeters. So it was pretty big.
Yeah,
it was pretty big. I don't know why they took so many.
Yeah.
But that was like really painful. I was if
was...
this is this bad, what's like,
yeah,
what's next,
I know. I remember that too. And it was probably, if you were awake for it, it was probably a core needle biopsy that was it ultrasound guided?
Yes,
core needle biopsy. So for those watching, you do get some topical, normally you get some kind of anesthetic of some sort, you know, lidocaine and then some kind of injection that tries to deaden the area some, but you could still feel a lot of that, huh?
And like hearing the punch.
Yes, it's like I always call it like almost like a clicking, like a you know, like they're like chipping away. Like I just picture this chipping away at it. Hate it. I hate it. I remember it so well. And Amie, how old did you say you were at this point?
I was 47.
47, yeah. And Stacey was 46. I was 41. So we're right along that line. And people talk about under 50 when you're diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. So take us from there. So you get the biopsies. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so like here in Canada, it's changed now. But at that point in time, they didn't actually do mammograms until you were 50. So I was still too young to be going for routine mammograms. But anyway, so I had that done and then just tried to make it through Christmas, assuming everything was fine. And then after Christmas comes, January of 2024, it was the first Monday morning, like back to work day. And I got the call from the nurse practitioner asking if I could come right now. So I went in and she said of all of the biopsies that they took, all 13 from the breast were positive for cancer and the lymph node one was also positive. In that, I remember like sitting there in her office and just feeling like the whole entire world basically crashed.
Yeah.
Like, were you there in that one sentence?
Were you there by yourself or was your hypochondriac husband with you by chance?
I was there by myself,
Oh,
and my
gosh.
hypochondriac husband was like the last person that I would have wanted there, because he's like, he would have started freaking out and made it way worse.
Oh,
Yeah, I was there by myself.
yeah.
Yeah, and so anyways, she said that I would probably be having surgery that week, which like scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, when they're in such a big hurry, right? Yeah,
It's like, how do you even process what was just said to you, let alone
right.
like you are having surgery this week? So I'm self-employed, and that meant like I need to do something with my business for this week. So on Tuesday, I made like a social media post just explaining what had happened, um, which was like it was really weird, because I work in trauma, and I felt like right from the beginning, like I needed to share my experience and just be open. Like, what is the other option? You're self-employed, you need to close your business, like you got to say something, right?
Yeah.
So I made a post. It felt like I was leaving my baby on the doorstep of a fire hall and just
Oh,
walking away.
gosh. Yeah.
It was really sad. Um, and then I saw the surgeon that week. She had the first pathology report back, knowing that it was triple negative, and so then that, of course, changed like the path. So there wasn't surgery that week. It would have been like starting with chemo first.
Gotcha. And,
Yeah,
and was that the first time you had heard of triple negative breast cancer?
it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so as soon as you heard that, did you have a lot of questions or did she kind of fill you in on what that meant? Do you remember?
She filled me in, and at the time, I remember just being so overwhelmed. It's really interesting now. My friends say this to me all the time. Like, they're like, "How do you know all this stuff?" It's like, in the beginning, it sounds like someone speaking foreign languages to
Oh,
you,
totally. Yeah.
and then after a pretty short period of time, like, it all starts to make a bit more sense, and like
Yeah. Yeah.
you're finding you're talking the foreign language too. Um, yeah, so then basically after that, they decided chemo was first. So I got the port put in. I named her
I
Penelope.
don't, what did you name her?
Penelope.
Okay, so I got to keep track of all the names because Stacy said that she named her tumor Bertha, and then
I heard.
and then the other tumor she got was named Gertrude, and now we've got Penelope the Port, which is perfect.
That's funny. These are like pretty old names too.
It's
Okay.
awesome, man. I love it. I love that. I never even occurred to me to do that. So I just love you guys telling me this is what you did because part of it is like it's almost a coping mechanism, you know?
Mhm.
And I
Once I named her, I talked to her all the time to like tell her what was going to happen,
uh-huh.
as a way to like prepare my body for what was going to happen. And it seemed as though I was less panicked once I did that. Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that. I hope people are hearing that and making note because that's brilliant. I love that.
She was like spunky. She was really, I could like see what she looked like. This probably makes me sound crazy, and I don't care.
No, it doesn't. It's cool. I like it, man. Come on, bring more of it, Amie.
She was like spunky. She was always wearing like a skirt and twirling around, and she had polka dot socks, and she never matched. She was like really like she was wild and
Like
crazy.
Punky Brewster. If you knew
Very
Punky,
much,
yeah,
very
yeah.
much. Yeah.
Wow. Hopefully, I won't have anything to name, but if I do, like, let's say I sprain an ankle or something, I could call like the big knot, like Punky Brewster or something. I'll have to remember this.
There you go. There you go.
So you said once they learned it was triple negative, they said that you would need to do the chemo first. So originally you were going to go straight to surgery, but now you're going to do chemo first. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to like prepare myself, and I felt like getting my haircut was part of that, like mentally preparing myself for what I was walking into. My hair has been like, I said, I work in trauma, so I don't really talk a lot. I listen a lot more than I talk. And so I had like an asymmetrical haircut, and it felt like that was me showing my personality. Like, instead of communicating and talking, it was like, well, she's a little bit wild, like her hair doesn't even match, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So getting my haircut was like really, really hard. We had a haircut party at my hairdresser salon, and he gave me 5 different haircuts before it got shaved off. So that was like fun and sad and traumatizing and all of that, all in the same breath.
Yeah,
But then I started chemo. Yeah, sorry.
no, you're great. I just think that's also an important step to note. It's like so many things are bad when you're going through a cancer diagnosis, and if there's parts of it that you can kind of take control of and make your own, it's one way that you can kind of make the best of a bad situation, because you were put in a position where you would have never cut your hair probably before, right? And so now you're like, let's do all this cool, fun stuff that I would have never done. You know what I mean? And you get to take charge of that. I love that. That's really cool.
It was helpful too, as it grew back a bit, to know like how we could maybe play with it a little bit. So yeah, it was good. We made the best of a bad situation, I guess. So what happened after the haircut? Well, I started chemo. The Taxol, carboplatin, and immunotherapy. So I did that for 4 weeks, on like once a week for 4 weeks. At the 4th week, I started getting like really red and itchy. And I'm like a really natural person. So the nurse was like, I think it's the essential oils and the lotion and stuff that you're using. It's not the chemo. But by week 5, I was in like full blown allergic reaction. They had to stop the dose. And then I was like ripping at my scalp.
Gosh, yeah.
It was terrible. And then they started it back up again. And within 20 seconds, the nurse was like, turn it off. She's having an allergic reaction. So
yeah,
they did like Benadryl me, and then I was done for the day.
wow.
And then after,
I was just gonna say, for those people watching, just so that in case they're wondering, chemo is cumulative. So the more you get of it, kind of builds up in your system, which is why you lose more and more hair throughout the treatment, or you feel more and more tired, or whatever. And so that probably explains why you didn't have the rash and breaking out and the itching and all that stuff until 4 weeks in. Now you've got so much in you, it's just like bubbling to the top almost, right?
yeah. And that was the first week that they didn't give me the IV pre-meds. So that probably was part of it too.
Yeah.
But right from the first week, I told my friends it felt like an allergic reaction to artificial sweetener. Like it felt the same. I'm severely allergic to anaphylactic to artificial sweetener.
Wow.
And it felt the same. Like the sensations in my legs and hands felt the same as when I found out that I was allergic to artificial sweetener. So by the time I had this allergic reaction, I told my oncologist, like, I don't want to do this anymore until you check and make sure that there's no artificial sweetener in it. And she was convinced. Like, she said, I've worked in this for 25 years. There's no way there's artificial sweetener in it. But I was
yeah, like what a weird thing to have in chemo, right? But you never know. It's like a lot of times, like I try to avoid sugar, and people are surprised at how often sugar turns up in some foods. So it's probably maybe the same kind of thing. So what happened?
Yeah.
Now
So
I'm on the edge of my seat right now, man.
Well, I refused chemo, and she was not happy with me. It's highly aggressive. And so she said, like, I was playing with my life, but I was not going to take it until they checked. So they checked. She was really reluctant too. She thought that I was making a mistake. But they checked, and it turned out that it was in the Taxol and the pembrolizumab, the immunotherapy. So
You gotta be kidding me.
no, they were like basically mainlining right through Penelope, back behind my heart, something that I'm like anaphylactic to. So that made more sense.
I mean, yeah, I guess it must not have been a huge dose, or it could have been like fatal, if it had a bunch of artificial sweetener in it, but it had enough to where it was starting to do something not good. That's so
they
crazy.
use it for like thickening agents and emulsifiers. It's in tons of medication too, which made it really difficult for me. Like any of the things that they tried to give me, about 85 to 90% of it had artificial sweetener in it. So that was not good. But
Wow, what a
anyways,
challenge. Like you're already going through enough, you know what I mean? And then to have that on top of everything else, just further complicating matters, you
I
know?
think one of the hardest parts of it was that then there's like this thing in the back of your head, like, okay, well, I'm not going to do it, but what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my outcome? If this is the best case scenario for like killing triple negative breast cancer and I'm not doing it anymore, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It was,
Yeah.
it was. But we switched to the AC, the red, I called it red velvet. That seemed like a little bit kinder of something to be putting in my body.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we switched to that, and I couldn't take the shots because there was artificial sweetener in them. So just had to like wait for my white blood cell count to come up. I was neutropenic a lot. And then that was done. I had a lumpectomy. They told me that it didn't make a difference as far as recurrence, what I had. So decided to go with something less invasive, which was okay until the next day. Then I was septic. So I
Oh my
spent,
gosh, Amy.
yeah,
This is crazy. Oh, how
yeah,
terrible. Okay. So
that was scary too.
after the lumpectomy, you became septic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like an infection in my armpit. So they did the lumpectomy and they cut the cancer out of my lymph nodes, or so we thought, anyways. But then yeah, the next day I was septic, so spent like, I don't know, maybe 4 days or something in the ICU. They told me that people didn't walk around the ICU, but I definitely was. Trying to be the hero of my own story or something like that. I don't
Did
know.
that make matters better or worse, or could you tell a difference?
For me, it made it better. I'm like so strong-willed. It's not even funny. I said to the nurse, I'm like, I'm taking a shower. And she's like, you can't take a shower. The doctor said no. And I'm like, tell the doctor I'm taking a shower and take me to the shower. And she knew I was not messing around. And so she let
Wow.
me take a shower. I
Yeah.
felt so much better just like being
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Um, yeah,
So
so
you
blood
survived that. So you
transfusions and
survived the allergic reaction. Now you survived the septic, being septic after your lumpectomy.
mhm.
God, you're just like knocking them out of the field there.
They
Dang.
told they told me I had an 11% chance of surviving, and I'm still here from the sepsis. So yeah, that
Wow.
happened.
You're like this walking miracle.
Yeah,
What an
it's
inspiration,
uh
though.
it's been crazy. So yeah, then I found out maybe a couple weeks after the sepsis that I didn't achieve PCR, pathogenic clear response. So the cancer was still in both the breast and the lymph nodes. So they went in and did a re-excision, took out another 2 centimeters all the way around the original tumor. And then I had to do the oral chemo, the capecitabine, um, which I was really, really struggling with the idea of taking it. I told you already, I'm like a natural person and I have a really hard time with medication, swallowing medication. Like I gag, and it's a lot of pills when you have to take the capecitabine. Um, so eventually I started doing that. It was brutal. My skin on my hands and feet was all like peeling off in big chunks.
I wonder
I
what
felt like,
I guess the chemo, that's just a side effect of a lot of different chemos, because that happened to me from I don't remember if it was Taxol or the adriamycin and Cytoxan that did that to me, but I guess it all makes sense because the cells on that make up your skin are fast dividing cells, and chemo kills fast dividing cells, so that's why it was doing that. Was it painful though at all?
it felt like walking on glass and my
Yeah.
toenails started like falling off.
So okay. Yeah, was that like a neuropathy? Do you think you had neuropathy at that point?
I definitely did. It started like, it was hard to tell though because it feels exactly the same as it did with the artificial sweetener poisoning.
Oh no! Oh gosh!
So it's like it's so hard to tell. It it's still really, really bad. Like my hands and feet are really bad. It feels like there's air in my bones. It sucks, but it is what it is.
I mean, well, honestly, like your demeanor, you wouldn't know like that you're going through that. You are a strong-willed person, and it shows. It's impressive.
Yeah, I think I spend most of my time just like pretending I'm okay. That like somehow makes it better. Because if I get really like stuck down in how bad it feels, then I'm just really stuck down in how bad it feels.
Right,
If I
right.
just kind of just keep on trying to like keep busy and move and do as many like normal things as I can, then I just somehow am better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's all about a positive attitude, and it's like pretend you're happy, and eventually you'll just be happy. You know what I mean? That kind of attitude, and you kind of just keep that in front of you so that you never let it bring you down, and you're slaying dragons, man. It's impressive, very much so.
Mhm.
So you had the neuropathy and the skin peeling, and I remember when you said it felt like walking on glass. I remember I told people it felt like I was walking on like hot coals is what it felt like for me. So I recall that uh, very much so. I'm grateful that I don't have that problem anymore, but I know many people that do carry that neuropathy with them forever.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that you take good care of yourself and you do all the things in your mind to take care of yourself. So okay, so now I'm trying to I got to keep track here of where we're at. Oh, I don't want to forget to ask you this. Earlier you mentioned that you had trouble breathing before you were
Mhm.
diagnosed. What was Can you explain what caused that?
I wish I could. I really wish I could. They told me I finally, just about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, got an answer as to what this rope lumpy thing is underneath of my breast, because the tumor was not where that rope was or where that lump thing is. And I still have a hard time breathing. I still can't sleep on that side. The tumor was like up at the top, like at 12 o'clock. And this was at like 7 o'clock. Um, so they told me it's a pocket of fluid, seroma or something. I don't know how you say it, but yeah, they told me it's a pocket of fluid. It's pushing on my lungs, and apparently there's nothing that can be done about it. So I just try to sleep on my left side as much as I can.
Oh gosh, okay. Well, at least you got an answer to it, and I'm sure, like you said, if there was something they could do about it, they would have offered that. So my goodness. Okay, now back on track. Getting you back on track. Sorry, I thought of that earlier, and I was like, I got to remember to ask because I was just so enthralled and everything else. But you're taking us now, I think, from the point in which you guys had some more surgeries. You did your chemo. You were on the chemo pill. You're having the neuropathy. You hated taking all the pills that they had.
Yeah, the pills were horrible. I did it for 5 weeks, I think. Yeah, I think 5 weeks. I can't actually remember. I was supposed to do it for 8 cycles, I think. And then it was really, really bad. Like the pain in my feet and the nausea and just like everything was really, really bad. Um, I I used to put like a cape on, so I was like a superhero. It had a K on the back for Kelvin, my dog. And I
That's
would like
awesome.
put it on and pretend that I was a superhero and that I could take all of these pills, but it was awful. I'd be like gagging them down. It was so bad.
Oh,
And so on the when I think it was the fifth one, I said to my husband on the Saturday, I was supposed to start again on the Monday. And I was like, I don't think I can take these. I don't think I can start taking these on Monday. Because normally with the off week, then I'd start to feel a little bit better and I could convince myself to take them again. So then on the Sunday, my father in law died. And I was like, yeah, see, I'm not taking these on Monday. So then I didn't take them that round. I started to feel a bit better. But then by
gosh.
the time it was time to start taking my next round, my dad had fallen and we found out that he had 3 months to live. So I stopped taking
Oh
oral
my
chemo.
gosh, Amy.
Yeah, that was like, it was a really hard decision to take in the first place, but as soon as I decided I wasn't gonna take it anymore, then I felt complete peace, like, I knew I was making the right decision, um, regardless of what that meant for me. I knew that I was making the right decision, that I had just had enough of it. Yeah, so I stopped taking it, and since then, I've had, lots of scans and tests. but they all come back clear. Just last week, I found out that there were more, the bone scan and stuff was clear. I guess after surgery, I had 30 rounds of radiation and 5 boosts.
What are
Yeah.
5 boosts?
So I think it means, I don't know if this is like totally accurate, but I think it means that they're just doing more in the spots, like where the cancer actually was, just like just targeted in those spots.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what were the effects of that radiation for you? Did you have where you get like a sunburn, like a really bad sunburn where they were targeting?
No, I had a tiny bit of a sunburn, not any worse than what I had as a kid if I didn't wear sunscreen.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't listen to anything that they said. After after that, I just was like, I was really done with all the like medication and all the stuff, and I wanted to do it my way. So radiation was a breeze. I just didn't listen to anything they told me, and put aloe with some essential oils on it, like a cooling spray that my friend had made for me. And I didn't have, like, right now you can't see at all. During the time, it just looked like a bit of a sunburn. It was itchy, but you can't tell at all that I had radiation. My skin doesn't look discolored or weird or anything like that. So the radiation was actually like, it was a breeze. I would never do chemo again, but if they told me I had to do radiation, I wouldn't flinch at it. That part was pretty easy for me.
That's really cool to hear. I did not have radiation myself, so I don't have anything to compare to. I just hear people talk about how bad the like sunburn could be and what it would do to your skin and everything like that. It sounds awful, but I'm glad that it wasn't awful for you, and that if it did come up again, that you'd be down for that. Especially, you know, you know, I love to be more natural than not, generally speaking, but not quite to the degree that you are. You seem to be very knowledgeable in a lot of, home treatments and things like that. But having to take so much medication and do all the different things would be so hard for somebody who's really not into medications, not who's into medications, but you know what I mean. Somebody
Mhm.
who doesn't want to do that much. And it's so awesome to hear that you're no evidence of disease then, right? Any
Yeah.
yeah. That's so amazing. Did they ever stage you, Amie? Did they tell you what stage you were?
Yeah, stage 3C.
Wow, wow. And so how often are you getting scans and things now?
So pretty regularly, just because I have a lot of side effects. So yeah, they've been sending me pretty regularly. But they told me at my last appointment that they'll probably stop following me after the next one, which is a bit scary, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I could do without having to go there all the time too.
Yeah. I mean, I know where you're coming from, and I'm sure a lot of people watching right now understand that too. Whenever my oncologist told me that I didn't have to come in anymore, it was after 7 years of seeing her, and it was very scary. I remember crying because I was like, I'm just out here, and there's no one watching anymore and making sure nothing happens. It's all on me. And I remember a few years later, there's something here in Texas. I think there's only a couple of these machines that they have here. It's called like Bioscan or something. And it's like a place you could go and have an out of pocket scan done, like a whole body scan. And after a few years, I got paranoid and I went and did that and then chased like little cysts down for like months and it was nothing, and caused myself a lot of extra anxiety for nothing. But it's really scary to be just kind of out there and having to watch out for yourself. So how many years has it been since you finished up your treatment?
It was, well, I finished the oral chemo in May of 2025. Yeah, so they get rid of us pretty quick in Canada.
They
If
get
they
rid of
if they followed you for 7 years, they get rid of us pretty quick.
Well, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, right now they're probably following you a lot closer than I was being followed in the beginning. And of course, this was a long time ago, so things have probably changed. I was diagnosed in 2010. And so, things have likely changed since then. What they used to say back at that time was after 8 years of being cancer free from triple negative breast cancer, you're just as likely to get breast cancer again as if you'd never had it. So that was kind of why I went for that amount of time. It was probably like 7.5 years, it's close to 8 years when she let me off the hook. But I was stage one, so it was also very different. Lots of things were different, but I'm glad they're doing scans. What kind of scans are they doing for you right now?
So CT scans up the wazoo and bone scans, and then just like routine blood work, and they always are checking me, like physical exams when I see them pretty much every time.
You
So
know,
like every 1 to 3 months, I've been mostly going there.
gotcha. Did they ever do PET scans on you at all?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I never had a PET scan either. I don't know what the reasoning for having and not having is anymore these days, but it's interesting to hear how different it can be for each person.
Mhm.
One thing we kind of glazed past, Amie, was when you finally did tell your husband. How did that go when you were diagnosed?
Oh, he freaks out about everything. Like if he had his way, he would go with me to every single appointment and sit in the room and like then freak out, and I'd have to like try to manage his emotions. So I waited until he got home and told him, and he did what I figured he would. He like freaked out, but he's been really supportive
It sounds
throughout
like
the
he
whole
loves you a
thing.
lot, because I mean he cares so much about you and wants to take care of you and make sure that you're taken care of. And he's got his thing where he's I can understand that. People in my family don't worry as much as I do, and so I worry enough for the both of us. So you kind of need that kind of to balance things out a little bit, I think.
And he's the opposite. He's the worrier, and I'm just like, "Oh, everything's fine. Like it's
Uh
gonna be fine." And he's like, "How do you know?" And like he's always freaking out, and I'm always like, "It's nothing. It's fine."
huh. I hope he didn't have like any kind of "I told you so" moment or anything like that. Like, this is exactly what I was afraid of," or anything like that.
I don't know. Like I am starting to think that we probably should listen to him a little bit more
Yeah.
because
See, I know, right? Right. Well,
if I
like I
wouldn't
said,
have listened to him, I don't know. Like
like I
it's
said,
stage 3C.
I think it's a really important balance that you guys have going on there, because if something were to happen to him, he would need you to be that other side, So it works both ways, I think. So I think it's a perfect setup for you guys. I just noticed the time. We're right at 7:30. We rocked right through that, Amie. I'm so glad to have met you and to hear your story and to share it with other folks out there. I know it's gonna be a huge inspiration to people. I'm so glad you're doing well, and I hope you'll keep in touch with us so we can keep an eye on you.
I will. Thank you so much, April.
You bet, you bet. Hope to see you real soon, and maybe I'll make my way up there one day, and I'll have to look you up. Okay?
Okay, wait till it's warmer.
I don't worry. Have a great evening, Amie.
You too.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye. All right, everybody, give it up for Amie. So cool. Wow, that's a lot, man. She went through all of it. It's. I talk about this every time I interview any kind of a survivor at all. There's a breast cancer journey, but there's always these kind of side streets that you take off on. You know, uh, she's with Stacy. She had all the things, and the wound that wouldn't heal, and having to go to the hyperbolic chamber and everything. And then for me, I had my lung punctured by the port, which in Amy's case, Penelope the port, which I wish I would have named mine. And then Amy having all the issues that she had. My gosh, and the allergic reactions. It's a lot. So if you know anybody going through breast cancer, just be prepared for a bumpy ride, and be there for them. I'll tell you, a lot of times people ask me, what kinds of things should I do for my friend or family member that's going through breast cancer, whether it's triple negative or any kind of breast cancer. And, you really have to kind of see what it is they want. I know for me, I loved being around people. It just sort of made things seem more normal. It kind of gave me more energy. I also loved getting like handwritten greeting cards in the mail. Things like that were great. If it's a person who likes to be to themselves a little bit more, some things that I loved were these aloe vera socks, different kinds of lotions with vitamin E and things like that. Um, just be there for them. I know like those like doing the meals and stuff for people, those are really great. Anything you can do, and just make sure that you see what it is they want, because not everybody wants the same thing. And hopefully your family member or friend will let you know what it is that they want that you could do for them. And I hope you will do that for them. Okay.